Welcome back to another exciting edition of Rake Position, where four lifelong friends are living out the dream from the comfort of their chairs. I am Aaron, the host, and I am ready, fellas, for a little baseball vacation.
I'm Joe, the groundskeeper, and for our viewers out there, if anybody can tell me who this is, Aaron, don't count. You can win a prize from the pod. So make sure you tune into us on YouTube.
Can't wait to see what the prize is. I am Jay Lee the Rover, and I guess I'm also ready for a little bit of baseball vacation.
Corey, you ready?
I am ready to sit and watch baseball on my couch. My brother actually gave me a gift for me to show to you.
I can only imagine what it is. There it is. Yep. I knew
Tell our
it was
listeners.
going to be something like that.
He
You
ordered
like
this.
Baby Mario and Sluggers.
Yeah.
That's funny. He ordered this hat, and they sent him the wrong size.
Is it a big hat?
It's a size 8 hat.
Yikes, dude. Put it on.
And so whenever he said, "Hey, you sent me the wrong size,"
Dude, you're our Baby Mario.
They were like, "No, you can just keep that because
You're drowning in that.
You gotta keep that on.
Just wear
At
this
the end of the
rest
pod,
of
it's
the
gonna be
time.
like over his eyes, sitting on his nose.
This is actually what I wear to the World Series of Poker.
There you go.
That's
Nobody
good.
I might get some stats wrong today, guys.
When you are, having this poker game, do the people actually bang on the trash can for you as well, or no?
Yeah, they do. It's this guy. This guy's got pocket rockets. Bang, bang. I guess. Yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah, and then Corey goes all in.
They bang for the number of.
I'm in.
The number on the cards. So if they have like a 9, if they have 2 9s, it's a lot of bangs. So
People are like, put
So,
that trash can away.
Hey, I'm sorry. That tells me about a story that's funny. Let me tell it real quick, right? Aaron.
sure.
So we had in school, me and a buddy came up with an idea to cheat on a test. I might get this put on my.
What's the
permanent
statute of
record.
limitations on this?
Hopefully 20 years. But so it was all multiple choice. So the code
This was not me, Mom.
The code was you tap the number of the question you don't know, and then the other guy taps 1 for A, 2 for B, 3 for C, 4 for D, right? Well, my buddy, he goes rapid machine gun fire, like on question 17 or whatever. So I just fall out of the chair laughing because I have no idea what number he's asking about. The plan completely derails. I think the teacher separates us, but I thought it was pretty ingenious for some freshman high
Dude,
school.
who was this? You gotta drop a name. Who was it?
It was Nathan Braungart.
That's awesome.
Nate, I hope you listen.
Yeah, it seemed flawless.
I just
me.
talked to
Like,
Nate the other night. He's
question
doing good.
number 10. You're like, oh crap, that's a lot of taps.
If there's only 5 questions, maybe.
That's
yeah,
awesome.
No, it was.
I'm trying to
rapid
make this
fire.
look good, guys.
Good luck, man.
Aaron, do the
It's
listeners
Astros
know?
hat.
Astros
Do the
hat.
listeners
Nice.
know what we're doing this weekend?
Well, my garb is a little teaser here. 3 of the 4 of us are going to Kauffman Stadium. We're going to check old Kauffman off our bucket list here, catch some
I've heard
Kansas
good
City
things.
games. Yeah, I've heard the stadium's great. It's actually like a 4.5 hour drive from our hometown, and we've never been. Astros are in town. Get to watch some Bobby Witt and get to watch some Astros. So we're there to enjoy it. But Friday night is Hispanic Heritage Month, so we get to celebrate Jared
Hola.
Lee all night.
Woo-woo.
And get some sweet hats. And it's also Roberto Clemente night. So I'm not sure what they're going to do for that, but that'll be fun. And then Saturday is Monarchs night. And so that'll be fun. Get Monarch jersey giveaway and watch some more baseball Saturday. So it'll be a good time.
Yeah, we'll try to get some maybe some shorts up for y'all on YouTube or
We'll send him to Corey put up
Yeah,
since he's not
probably.
going.
Yeah, Corey's not going to be busy.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to the trip.
I ran out of time, but I wanted to get a cardboard cutout of Corey to take with us, and it didn't work. Maybe we
I'm sure we can make
something up. All right, so to our actual reason for being here, I guess, our rankings didn't really change, so we didn't have a whole lot to add. We got the Braves who clinched tonight, still in the 1 seed. Orioles, Dodgers chasing them. Rays are still holding strong. And so that 5th spot is still the interesting thing to talk about. We've had the Mariners and Astros tied for a few weeks, and they're still right neck and neck. Rangers played well last couple nights, so they're still right there. And then out in the East, you still got Toronto. So it's basically those top 4 teams, and then you got 4 teams at the bottom of the AL fighting for that last 2 wild card spots. So that's what we keep our eyes on. A couple things have maybe happened recently that'll impact that. Jared, you were mentioning one before we logged on, the old Rangers there. So what do you see? How do you see this wild card shaking out now?
Well, it's gonna be tough. I mean, you traded for a guy that you were gonna bring in to help you, give that deep playoff push. But I mean, I haven't really been keeping too close eye on the Rangers, but you guys say they've been playing some good baseball without him. So maybe they still figured out a way to do it. But when you lose a guy like Max, not just a guy that can pitch, but I mean, obviously he plays with a lot of emotion. That's a big piece for your ball club. I mean, I'm sure he'll still be in the clubhouse with them and pumping guys up and stuff. But I think that him not being on the mound definitely is something that could change things for sure.
Yeah, they've won 5 straight, and one of those was the start that he couldn't make because he tore the muscle in his shoulder and back area, and he's out for the whole playoff. So it's a big deal. So you got Scherzer and DeGrom sitting on your bench trying to claw your way into the wild card picture. It's kind of tough luck. They've had a lot of injuries. Seager was down for a while, but they keep finding ways to hang in there. So they might still make the playoffs, but they won't be quite as intimidating, I don't think. What about you, Joe and Corey? What do you guys got as far as wild card races?
As
that National League wild card.
I knew it was coming. I just threw a softball here for this Cubs conversation. Go for it.
I mean, they are in the second spot. They have a 1.5 game lead on Arizona, who they could have beat up on a little bit more than they did. And they lost the series to the Rockies. So I'm not going to talk too much about the Cubs because they've not been playing particularly well. But so I mean, where the American League, you've got 4 teams for 3 spots. The National League, you've got 6 teams for 3 spots. The American League, I think, is a little bit. One of those is also a division lead, right? So the Astros have 83 wins. So you got the Astros, the Rangers, the Mariners. They could all make it. Right now they are slotted to all make it. But the National League also, because we seemingly care about the National League a little bit more than the American League. The American League is a great league, but we are fans of all National League teams.
Not all of them.
That's true. But the Reds, we've talked a lot about the Reds. We talked a lot about the Diamondbacks this year and just kind of the more young and exciting teams where I think Seattle may fall into that if you're talking about American League teams that are young and exciting. Other than that, it's kind of teams that are doing maybe
Baltimore too, for sure.
Yeah. But like Texas is kind of older guys for the most part. Toronto's older guys. Tampa, I don't really know how to classify Tampa. Tampa's just like a bunch of dudes being dudes playing baseball, like what they do every year.
They're basically like us.
That's right. Hey, this is some good news for Joe and Jared here. I'm looking at the NL. Every team in the NL that's even close to playoffs is 4, 5, or 6 wins in the last 10 games. The Cardinals currently are the hottest team in the National League, guys. They're 7-3 in their last 10.
They're technically not eliminated out of the playoffs, right?
They're not. 11 games out, and they're the hottest team in the league right now. So there's chance.
I'm all in.
Go for it.
As I watch this season dwindle down, the Cardinals are awful. So I won't say I've watched every game. But as I look at like the playoff teams, I think I usually always cheer for the underdog. So I kind of look at these small market teams or these lower payroll teams. So Baltimore, Tampa Bay. I'm assuming Seattle has a pretty low payroll. I don't like Milwaukee, so no, I'm not going to cheer for them. So I guess, as I cheer for a team, which is really not cheering, but I hope those teams do well and go pretty deep into. Hope they make the playoffs for one, and then I hope they at least put up a fight.
Joe's definition, fans, for cheer is less hate. He less hates these teams.
Less destruction of the items.
Yeah. If those teams lose, he doesn't break anything though.
Right.
At some point maybe could we get a quick house tour after the game on Monday night?
That could be a short, yeah.
How about
could you
no?
just okay. Well,
yeah, why don't you come over real quick? I'll show you around.
No, just pick your computer up. It's a laptop, right? And then just show us the room where you watch the game. And it's
I'm good.
This is a Bears fan mouthing a Bills fan. Like something's wrong with the picture. As we established, my team's the only team that won this week, so you all just step off.
Bears fan, I would use that term lightly. Bears tolerator.
After our side pod, Rake your music later on. Anywho, that did work. So that's our rankings. The AL wild card is going to be fun. A lot of really good teams, and somebody has to win the National League wild card, but it's not quite as exciting. So we wanted to also revisit our award predictions from episode 1, but then we realized we were really bad at that. So we thought that wouldn't be very fun. So we want to talk about guys that are actually in the race currently.
Real quick before we move on.
Yeah, go for it.
I think it was you, Aaron, just in that last segment. You said these two teams are neck and neck. Have we ever thought about what that even means? Like, is that a throwback to when people fought with their necks or something, or what's that about?
Dude, have you ever seen giraffes fight?
Neck and neck.
Giraffes fight with their necks, man.
I have, yeah.
I like to think it's when people just hug with their neck. Is that
what it's talking about?
I think when you're racing so fast, like the Flash, you're like
Smitty there. When he would fall over trying to beat.
Yeah, try to beat Brian. Yeah, exactly. The rest of us are still at the start line.
Neck and neck.
Like you stick your neck out when you're running, I think.
Yeah.
Try and cross.
You're supposed to lean forward.
Is that really what it is? Wow, I'm so disappointed in whoever.
I mean, we could make it giraffe fighting. Next time,
how about we make up another phrase? It's better. Like these two teams are. Man, you don't want to know where my mind goes. Listeners, if you got something better about two close teams. Anyway, I'm sorry. On to the awards.
Yeah, so instead of talking about who we voted for, who's most likely not going to win these awards, we're going to talk about some guys that are actually in the race. And so Corey's going to start us off with the NL MVP talk.
Yeah, I mentioned that I think that there's two guys we need to talk about, and I got told that it needs to be at least 4. So I will give you 4 and 3 real quick here. And getting 3rd and 4th in the MVP voting is still quite the feat. These guys are having great years. But I think 4 now is Freddie Freeman, who's having a wonderful year. I think the downside is that he plays first base because people don't get a lot of love for playing first base. It doesn't factor into your WAR very much because WAR does take into account your kind of position importance. And then 3rd would be Matt Olson, who, again, having a great year, is almost certainly going to set the single season record for home runs for the Atlanta Braves. He is tied with it right now with Andrew Jones. These guys are having a great year. Matt Olson's got a 1.0 OPS. Freddie's got a .995. He set the record for most doubles in the season for the Dodgers, which, knowing the people that have came through that Dodgers franchise, is pretty exciting. But boy, would he look great with a script A on his hat. Can you guys even imagine Freddie Freeman in a Braves jersey?
Oh,
I like to
I
think that
can in about 3 years. It's going to look nice with him DHing.
I like to think that maybe I just dreamt it. Like I think I've seen him in that uniform before, but maybe I could be wrong.
I think it might have been like one of those little league pictures, like whenever you
Yeah.
played on the
The
teams.
last time I believe was a sweet little stroke in Houston that put a baseball about 420 out to left center as the Braves clinched the World Series. And Joe Buck goes, that might be the last at bat in the Atlanta Braves uniform he's ever going to take.
So are you saying this is
No,
Joe Buck's
that
fault?
doesn't add up.
Yes.
That
It's
doesn't make
100% Joe
sense.
Buck's fault. But if he was still in Atlanta, the Braves wouldn't have Matt Olson. And I can't really complain about Matt Olson. When he's 7 homers ahead of Pete Alonso for first, and he's 13 RBIs ahead of Pete Alonso for first. Pete Alonso's having a great year. What the crap? How did I miss that?
Can we take a vote real quick on
For Freddie
who-
versus Olson?
Yeah, like who would you rather have?
I would take Olson on this contract over Freddie on his contract.
Yeah, Freddie's also 40 years older than Matt Olson is.
I'm still taking Freddie.
Yeah, me too. Sorry, Matt. I said when it happened, like if you can't have Freddie, get Matt. That's great. Freddie's still going to be the better player in the short term, but to get Matt on that contract for that price,
maybe think
it's
of
going to
something
be worth it.
And it's not to throw your wife Kathy under the bus, but can you please tell the story of when he signed with the Dodgers on the gift that you received?
Okay, so Braves win the World Series in 21, and the lockout happens. So the lockout passes Christmas and goes to like a week before my birthday. My birthday's in mid-March, and so it was like 6 days before my birthday, lockout ends. So in that meantime, for Christmas, and I got a couple birthday gifts early as spring training was happening, getting ready to happen, Kathy was gearing me up. I got a Chipper Jones and a Freddie Freeman hand-drawn like plaques or what do you want to call them, pictures. And I got a Freddie Freeman signed jersey. And when the news dropped 2 days after the lockout or whatever that the Braves acquired Olson, we knew Freddie was gone. And then, of course, Freddie does sign with the Dodgers, of all people. My wife was so mad. Like she was dreaded all winter following the news. I thought maybe she was a little more into the news than normal. And it turns out because she was afraid that Freddie was leaving. And here she is buying this awesome World Series signed jersey from Freddie. But I still take it. Freddie's still one of my favorite players. It's hard to root for him when he's in Dodger blue because that's like the Braves' biggest nemesis right now because they're so good. But he still just amazing to watch play. So, but yeah, still got signed jersey. So whatever.
Well, there was a lot of talk for the 3rd and 4th place guys. I can only imagine what's about to happen for the 1st and 2nd. Coincidentally enough, they play for the same teams. I will present them as 1A, 1B. I will not take a side quite yet.
Who's 1B? That's the second guy.
That's the side.
Yeah, that's the side. Which is
1B. Okay, I'll present them in 1A, 1B according to Baseball Reference WAR. 1A is Mookie Betts, the right fielder, second baseman, shortstop for the Los Angeles Dodgers, who's having a great year. He's leading the league in OPS 1.018. Is he a lot of homers? What is he not leading the league? Why are you looking at me like that? Pretty sure he's leading the league in OPS.
well,
Yeah.
I think he just got passed today. That's why
By
I did
who?
one of those. Acuna.
According to According to
Is that up to
Baseball
date?
Reference.
I want up to date stats. Acuna
Baseball
went 3 for
Reference
5
is always
today.
a day behind.
Okay, well, Baseball Reference says he's leading. He's leading by 17 points from yesterday. If it's yesterday's stats. And then the 1B is Ronald Acuna Jr. 7.4 Baseball Reference WAR, 37 homers, 65 steals, 1.001 OPS according to yesterday's stats or today's stats. Is leading the league in runs, hits, stolen bases, caught stealing. Maybe be a little better at it, Ronald. Total bases. Has only played right field.
don't understand why that's part of the NL MVP conversation. He played one position. Oh, there goes my vote.
He played
10 games
he
at
played-
shortstop apparently guarantees you the MVP vote in Corey's world.
You don't even know what I'm going to say. Mookie Betts, his position on Baseball Reference says right fielder and second baseman.
How many innings?
Oh gosh, let me pull up my.
If it's not like 50, it doesn't even
stats
count.
here.
And we know
Let's
it's not
see.
50.
Shortstop, he has played 98 innings at shortstop, 391 innings at second base, and 663 innings in right field.
This season.
Correct.
Yeah, he
Okay.
played a lot up the middle. when
16
people get hurt.
games at shortstop, 57 at second, and 101 at right field. So that's he moved. That's more than 162
okay.
games. He has switched positions in the middle of the game. We could do game started. That would have been less confusing, but I didn't see that column. I people don't vote for MVP based on value to the team. A lot of times they vote on MVP based on counting stats. I think WAR is a big thing now. That being said, if I was a voter, I think Mookie, prior to the beginning of September, had provided more value to the Dodgers because of what he was able to do to help the team. They needed a guy to play second. They needed a guy to play shortstop. They're going to take their Gold Glove right fielder and they're going to put him there. He came up as a second baseman, so this is not totally new to Mookie. But I do think, as far as what both of these players have done to help their team, Mookie was slightly above Ronald prior to the beginning of September. Ronald is having an outstanding year, but I think you can get a right fielder that hits. Obviously not as good as Ronald does, but it's not that. I think
Corey,
the
Bill,
position.
I'm waiting for what you're about to say there.
I need you to pick
You
a
get a
side,
right
dude.
fielder that does what as good as Ronald?
Pretty much anything, but I'm saying that you can't get a right fielder that plays second base and shortstop at a level that is decent enough to do it. That being said, September happened and Mookie forgot how to hit, and Ronald has hit like 6 or 7 home runs in the 2 weeks of September now, where it kind of seemed like he was going to be like the goal was 30 homers and 70 stolen bases. And it seems like, knock on wood, he will be able to eclipse 40 and 70, which I don't know how you don't vote for a guy that does that.
I used to really push hey, this is value for the team. That's most valuable player award. So I get that argument. I'm not going to completely against it. But yeah, in September, when games matter most, Mookie is hitting 207. Just saying. Just saying.
I basically told you I've changed my mind since the beginning of September.
No, you did. You hedged that big time. I'm sorry. Okay, it's your segment.
No, I'm pretty much done. I think if you asked me 2 weeks ago, I would have said Mookie would have got my vote because where he was at and the month that he just had, and if that were to have continued into September, added on with his position flexibility, there's a lot of value, and I think that's more value than a guy that has great counting stats that plays right field. It's the whole thing about the first baseman. Like, first basemen don't get love because it's not a very valuable position.
Mm-hmm.
Like, corner outfielder is probably the next least valuable position. Like, we're going to talk about a guy in the rookie of the year race who's a corner infielder that's playing a great corner outfield spot right now. Like,
spoilers.
I didn't say a name, but the fact that he's only playing a corner outfield position, I think, brings the value that he is adding down a little bit. Where if he was doing all this and playing shortstop and second base,
I agree. Yes, shortstop. Yes, second base. I mean, Max Muncy can play second base.
Can he? I mean, Max Muncy can stand near where the position is supposed to be.
If
Man,
Mookie was so
you
good at it, he
don't-
wouldn't have left.
This isn't an argument for either side, but like you don't hide somebody. You hide people in the corner outfield spots and first base.
yes,
Like you don't hide anybody in any other position.
yes.
You put Chris Duncan in left field. You don't
Left
put him at
field,
second
yes,
base.
not right field. Your right fielders are your best defenders, unless you're Jordan Walker.
Your right fielders are not your best. We have the Cubs' right fielder is their worst outfield defender.
Who's that?
Say ya.
Well,
Hap
he
just
should
won a
be
Gold
winning.
Glove.
So he should be in right.
Did
They're
you
wrong.
see PC? Did you see PCA? I'll bring it up.
I did. That was
Oh,
nice.
boy, he's awesome.
That was nice. He's going to be fun to watch.
Yes, he is.
Yeah, I won't say too much. You guys know I wanted Acuna. He actually, that's one of our few predictions we got right. But when you're looking at somebody doing something that nobody in the entire game has ever done, and he's not horrible at defense. He not the best at it, but he's not horrible. But he's leading the league in so many offensive categories, and Mookie had to have a ridiculous August just to get in the conversation. It'll be crazy if Acuna doesn't win it, but it's amazing. We were talking, steroid era a couple pods ago. Appreciate Reinstate. Like in all seriousness, somebody that is running away with the home run and RBI lead like Olsen is right now, to not even be mentioned is crazy. Like I think he should be fourth. Maybe he passes Freddie if he keeps this up for the rest of the year, but I think he's fourth. But that's an MVP winner 10 years ago before all the fancy advanced stats came out, because you went by the counting stats and the home runs and everything. So yeah, it's going to be a fun finish. I'm surprised it's as close as it was, because through the All-Star break, it was like, well, everybody else can just give up because Acuna's got it. And Mookie and Freddie said, watch this. So
It is kind of hilarious to go back and look at MVP voting, because like Baseball Reference now has the past MVP voting and see what the results were and then what the WAR of each player was.
yeah, they've added WAR afterwards. It's like,
yeah.
Ooh.
And it's like people are getting fifth with like 12 WAR, and like the guy who won it had 4, and it's just like, oh well.
And I think playoff moments, people are starting to vote now. Like in September, when they start voting, we don't see those results. But I think playoff moments matter and stuff like this. And like Acuna just pummeled the Phillies. The Braves were needed to win 3 out of 4 to clinch the East in Philadelphia, and Acuna was a big part of what just happened to do that. I mean, he's slugging .712 in September right now, so he's putting the cherry on top as he's pushing the Braves over the finish line. So I like it.
Yep.
So we were also going to highlight the Cy Youngs, which also has a Brave in it, but it's very interesting. We kind of talked before the pod. Spencer Strider, the Braves, Justin Steele, the Cubs, Blake Snell of the Padres, and Zach Gallen, the Diamondbacks. We thought were kind of the top 4. Corey found some betting odds that agree with that. And so this will be an even more interesting conversation, and it's all about what stat you value most. So I'll just throw out some highlights and see if you guys know enough, paying attention to these guys enough to share. Of course, Spencer Strider is like the modern day Nolan Ryan. He leads the league going into tonight. He pitched tonight, so I think he got 10 more strikeouts on top of this. But going into tonight, he had 250 strikeouts. He was almost 50 ahead of Snell, who was second, I believe. So leading the league in strikeouts by a wide margin. Just got his league-leading 17th win. Him and Steele were tied at 16. So lead the league in wins, lead the league in strikeouts, lead the league in FIP, which is fielding independent pitching, advanced stat that tries to say if defense didn't matter, you get the outs you are responsible for as a pitcher with strikeouts and walks and stuff like that. He would be the best if everybody had the same defensive capabilities behind him. Spencer would be the best, but his ERA is in the high 3s. So that's interesting. So do you value the strikeouts and actually winning versus the traditional stats of ERA? Where Steele, also leading the league in wins going tonight with a super low ERA, leading the league in ERA at 2.49, leads the league in ERA plus, which is a fancy way of saying he's 80% better than your average pitcher, but doesn't strike people out relies on his defense, which the Cubs have a good defense. His FIP is higher than Spencer's, not by much, but it is higher. And then you've got Snell, who has been the talk of the town because the second half of the year he didn't give up anything, but he leads the league in wild pitches and walks. He has almost 100 walks, and he's second in strikeouts. So he's all or nothing. You have no idea what you're getting, but his ERA is right behind Steele. So do you take that wild inconsistency? Do you take the consistency with no strikeout potential and Steele, or do you take all the strikeouts who can get burned by homers? Or then Zach Gallen, who leads the league in nothing. But out of these four guys, he's got the most innings pitched by a long shot. He's not bad at anything. He's in the strikeout conversation after Strider. He has less walks than Snell. His ERA's in the low threes. He's at 15 wins. His FIP is just over 3. So it's just kind of interesting. Each rider has a personal inclination to go old school stats or new school stats, and all of them except for Snell are in the playoff picture. So will that come into matter? But Gallen's at 187 2/3 innings. Snell's at 161, so Gallen's 25 innings ahead of him. Steele's at 159, so even further ahead of Steele. And Strider was at 162. So Gallen's over 20 innings more than any of these guys. Even though he doesn't lead the league in anything, he's the old school workhorse that goes deep into the games more consistently. So that's what he's got going for him.
What team did Zach Gallen come from before he was with the Diamondbacks?
Oh, I'm not going there.
Okay.
So each of you, if you had your vote, where do you
Miami.
lean in Cy Young voting? Do you go for the old school ERA and wins? Do you go for the dominance of strikeouts? Do you go for the workhorse? Or do you go for the guy that has to rely on his defense, but is so consistent that he's excelling?
Go ahead.
No, you go ahead. I'll take too long.
That's true.
Thanks. I think obviously you look at the thing that matters the most, which is what do you try to do?
Win.
Try to win games. So I don't care if whatever the pitcher, however he wants to get him out, strikeouts, whether it's a person who puts the ball in play, as long as you're not giving up a crap ton of runs, like that's the pitcher that I want. So honestly, like either way, as long as you win, don't care. Or as Joe would say, as long as you don't walk people.
So Joe's out
I'll
on
make
Snell.
mine short and sweet. As long as it's not Snell. Are you kidding me? Walk guys in the playoffs, give up a bomb loss. I mean, immediately cut from the team. So anybody besides Snell. That's all I got to say, Corey.
So this is
I like Blake Snell. He's one of the best.
No.
No, Justin Steele's in there. You know he's getting the vote.
I wasn't planning on it, but again, like as we were talking about before, because this award it is named after someone. It is not a generic name like most valuable player. Is this award
named after?
Tommy John, I think. Is this award supposed to go to whoever is the most valuable pitcher? Because if that's the case, I think Strider and Snell are not necessarily in the conversation. Strider's great, but he's playing for such a good team that almost hurts, I think, his kind of accreditation there. Okay, yeah. And then I think Snell, because the Padres are not in the playoffs, that kicks him out of it too.
Or
Zach
are
Gallen,
they great because Strider and Acuna are on the team?
So are you saying to win the vote, you have to be a mediocre team, not too good, not too
exactly.
bad?
Yeah, you
You're
have
gonna be
to
like the
bring your team
Cubs
up.
who sneak in.
You
So,
gotta be like
who's
the
the
Cubs,
best player on the Cubs? Justin Steele. Okay.
who really
Who?
need this one good pitcher, and that's why they're doing so good, is because they got this guy that every fifth day is going to come out and be competitive. Where like you could throw out somebody like Yanni Chirinos and still win a game or two.
That's right.
If you're the Braves. But and the same thing with Zach Gallen. Like if you got this guy going out here and throwing 187 innings and he's giving you competitive batting every time. I think the thing that hurts him is that he's not, like Aaron said, leading in anything. I don't know that I think Steele will win it. I would love to see it happen, but like he's just not flashy, and I feel like people want that kind of flashy stuff. I went into this thinking I would give more consideration to Strider, being totally honest, just because he is very, very fun to watch. He strikes out a lot of people. Again, I think I'm with Joe. Like, not Snell. If it's as long as it's not Snell, and I think based on kind of what things are shaking out to be, if it's not Snell, and Steele would be the kind of top choice. But it just seems like you need a guy that's on a competitive team to win these awards. So as long as it's not Snell, I'll be happy.
Yeah, the wins, as Jared has pointed out, like he would vote for the wins. I always like wins too, but that's becoming less and less important to the modern day voters. And so, like maybe the 300 strikeouts, if Strider can pull that off, that will help him sneak in if people haven't voted yet. I think he's at 269. He might have 3 starts left, so it's like it's doable, but he usually gets about 10 Ks a game because he doesn't go 8-9 innings because he's burnt out. So I don't think it's possible, but yeah, I'm with you. I think Gallon and Steele, I think they deserve it over Strider, but nobody's talked about those two. It's been Snell and then Strider strikeouts. So it'll be interesting. It'll be a fun race. We were also going to just touch on our rookies a little bit. Most of us had Corbin Caroll. Did all of us have? Oh, and we had one Jordan Walker.
Jared had Jordan Walker.
Jordan had Jordan Walker, which has played well. And we made a note the other day just talking that his defense is getting better as the year goes on. So if he can really play right field, they can keep him out there. That's a huge win. But Corbin Caroll, he's got a shot at 30-30. Has he gotten it already? He's got to be real close. That man's looking that up. As a rookie, plays phenomenal defense, runs great, like everything you would want in an outfielder. 5 tools for sure. So that's our clear favorite. But we wanted to highlight Jordan Walker's played well. Nolan Jones was kind of not on anybody's radar and has had a great second half, coming up to play the outfield for the Rockies. Outman, we didn't even talk about him at the beginning of the year, and he's been up all year with the Dodgers and really has solidified their center field. He has cooled way off the second half, but he still is an everyday player. As a rookie, it's great. And then, of course, McLean, out of all the guys in Cincinnati, there's plenty of Cincinnati guys you can mention, but out of all of them, McLean came up the earliest, and has consistently produced in the middle infield. And so those are probably the top 5 guys, with Caroll leading the pack, Walker, Nolan Jones, Matt McLean, and Outman out in LA. So we just wanted to highlight those guys. So next week we're going to go to the AL and look at those races. But we got an exciting MVP race that we didn't think we were going to have, and an exciting Cy Young race. And we didn't pick any of these Cy Young guys, so it'll be fun to see how that turns out.
So Corbin Caroll has 24 home runs and 47 stolen bases.
24 homers. Okay.
Pretty good.
It's doable, but
before you go on talking about the MVP races real quick, with just Acuna and Olsen being on the same team, when's the last time that like 2 players have finished essentially first and second that have played on the same team the same year? Then like I've been trying to think about it.
I know the Giants did it with Kent and Bonds, right? When Kent won it, wasn't Bonds like 2?
Yes, I believe so. I think that was one of those ones where it was kind of a head scratcher of why Kent got it over Bonds. But
yeah, I think that's people didn't want Bonds to have it. Yeah, that'd be good. I don't know how we can find that this quickly. Because usually it's one person stands out, and in this case, the top 4 candidates are Braves and Dodgers. Which is crazy. And the Braves just do have a crazy deep lineup this year, and the Dodgers are very top heavy. So yeah, Betts and Freeman have both been more valuable to their team. So if you vote that way, you could see them getting it. But overall production, you have to go to the other 2 guys. So
the last year, the Cardinals had 1 and 3.
That's true. Yeah.
2 years ago. Yeah, 2 years ago, the Blue Jays had 2 and 3 with Vlad and Marcus Semien. So yeah, I mean it's
It's happened more often.
to 2020, which is I take that with a grain of salt. The Padres had 3 and 4 with Machado and Tatis.
You skipped something there.
Huh?
Where was
I missed-
Azuna that year?
6th.
Oh, because he beat Freddie in a lot of stats. I thought he was higher. Darn.
You did have Freddie and Mookie 2020, 1 and 2. Yeah, I mean those it seems like are the I'm not going to find anything else as cool as this past.
So it does
3 years.
happen. Okay. That surprises me. My
least top,
inclination be to think no, but cool. All right, guys. Well, it's time. It is time for everybody's favorite segment. Do you have your stinger? You said you had a stinger. You said you're going to make a theme song for this week, Joe.
Shoot, man, I did. I don't have it.
Yeah, we've got that.
Wait. Okay, so what did we do? Did we talk about MVPs for like 0.8 seconds? I missed it, or
We talked about 4 guys for MVP for probably
what
about
about?
20
Oh, we
minutes now.
kicked. We're
Corey and Cooney went back and forth on MVP for like 15
But-
minutes, and I just decided
okay.
to leave it at that.
and we're not. We're doing the other one later, right?
Yes.
No, we're just it's just you now.
Well, before we go on to that,
Long pause here before we get to Joe every time.
He's got to go to the bathroom.
no, not yet. I did drink a moon hug. That's kind of running through me, but as we talk about, and I've been thinking about this for quite a while, but just to bring it up now, and I think caramel cold brew. What the heck is that?
Dude, they're good.
Cooney's got some weird M&Ms in here.
They
They're
sound
good,
good.
man.
Corey, I think this would be a good topic for you because you're the stat man. But we
Okay.
keep talking about stolen bases, and this guy's got 60, and this guy's got 40. We need to figure out how much that matters nowadays with the rule changes. I haven't paid much attention because the Cardinals are awful, and it's been a joke of a season. But just the feeling is stolen bases are up, success rates are through the roof. Like, okay, these guys are stealing bases, but does that really matter anymore with these new rules? I don't want to get into it now, but if listeners or anybody wants to think about that, and then maybe we can have a larger discussion. Maybe that's an off-season discussion once we get all the numbers in. But
There is a baseball savant stat called runner runs, which I think basically is.
I used to call
runs.
myself that on the base pass when coach was like, "Why are you trying to steal home again?" I'm like, "That's runner's run."
But
Cooney's calling timeout.
Yeah.
Don't be saying I wasn't on the base pass because we know.
No. Speaking of stealing home, did you see
Yes,
the guy get home free because of third disengagement?
yeah, Chris Bassett. I don't know who the runner was.
Mitch
It was Chris
Garver, wasn't it?
Oh, the guy that tried to chase him back to third.
Yeah, he tried it.
I did
Mitch
see
Garver
that,
just
yeah.
kept getting a bigger. I think it was Garver. Correct me if I'm wrong, listeners. But he kept getting a bigger lead at third. Bassett just takes off running to third base. Runner goes back to third, but that was a third disengagement. So then the guy just got to walk home. It's like, that's brilliant.
What was there like a what? Where was the third baseman? Is he playing short or something?
They must have had a lefty batting, I'm guessing, and the third baseman was shifted. I'm guessing because he wasn't close to the bag.
Yeah, that's
That's great.
Funny. It's kind of like little league stuff, but I mean,
Yeah.
hey, it's gonna happen. All right, so I have a short story about this. So I think y'all know. Could he put on
I buckled up.
No. So what do old can't play baseball anymore has been guys do that still want a ball?
Low pitch softball.
Ring, ding, ding, ding,
Make your own
ding.
men's league wooden bat.
Yeah, I still miss that.
Yeah. When we get rich off this thing, we'll start our own league. But anyway, Corey hit the nail on the head. So you play slow pitch softball, right? all our listeners, I can guarantee you minimum 190% of our listeners played slow pitch softball. So what?
But I'm just not sure you understand how statistics work.
I don't.
I think he
Okay.
fully understands it.
So anyway, all right, another question for the guys and for the listeners and everybody else. What do you do before the game starts? Before the game starts, what's everybody do?
Are you Jared Waters or are you me?
What does a typical most of your team do before the game? The game's like in 10 minutes.
Oh, warm up.
Could be rubbing sunscreen on.
Yeah, put bacon
Icy
grease on
hot.
you.
The icy
Oh.
hot.
You
Icy
warm
hot.
up. Thanks, Jay Lee. You're throwing balls back and forth, right? You go down the line, you got a partner, you pray that the guy next to you is halfway decent and you don't get smoked from the other guy coming the other way, right? Not only are you watching the ball coming at you, you're also watching everybody else because half the team you picked up in the parking lot and they're awful. Anyway, so I'm playing catch with this guy, and he's like the old timer that you can tell this guy was a beast back in the day, but now he's 50 and out of shape. But anyway, he throws me this ball, and as I'm watching it come at me, you put your glove up where the ball is going to be, and you're going to catch it, right? Well, my glove is floating left and right about 3 feet out in front of me as this ball twirls, tumbles, whippity mcstippities all over the place. And miraculously, I caught it. And I looked at that guy and I said, you can never, ever throw that to me again. So what he threw was what we call a knuckleball, obviously. So first, I want to give a shout out to the Rover here because he gave me this idea. I was struggling this week. Obviously, I didn't get the jingle, and I was struggling with a topic. I mean, I guess I did have a topic, but the guys didn't want to roll with that one. So we ended up going with Jay Lee's idea.
I don't think we could.
Yeah, yes. You should run them by us in advance in the future.
I did.
No,
Anyway.
I'm just saying, keep doing that.
Aaron can't remember what it was.
He just needs to look back in the text.
Yeah.
So this episode of Appreciate or Reinstate is going to be. Wait, I gotta say what the thing is. So this segment is brought to you by 5-star Trapper Keepers and Appreciate or
you
Reinstate.
have a 5-star right next to you?
Yeah,
It's not.
Making notes,
1996.
I wish. So we're going to bring up some old topics that used to be in the game. And the segment is, do we appreciate that this used to be a part of the game and leave it in the past? Or do we, through massive social media influence, try to get these things reinstated back into the game? Today's topic will be the knuckleball. So I have one slide to show you. I don't even know if you call that a slideshow. Do you just call that a slide?
A picture, probably.
I like slide.
Sure.
It's a slide. So let me share my screen here. Can you guys got that?
Mm-hmm.
Did it go bigger?
Yeah. Yep. Sure did.
Okay. So who wants to I think some of these for our listeners, I got 4 pictures on the screen here. The segment kind of gives it away. They're all knuckleballers. So who here thinks they can name all 4 of these people?
Got 2 of the 4.
I got 3. I don't know.
All right.
I don't know.
Aaron, the host, go ahead and give it to us. Say the team name and then say the player.
You got Phil Niekro for the Braves, Tim Wakefield in his Boston days, R.A. Dickey in his Blue Jays, and is that Charlie Huff for the Orioles? Is that the right name?
Is a good guess. It's wrong.
Oh, darn.
The Orioles player there is the Hall of Famer Hoyt Wilhelm.
Yep.
Yeah.
Nailed it, Jared. Good job.
Little known fact, Phil Niekro was 68 years old when he finally retired. If you could see this picture
He's
this
32
dude had
there.
this dude had a rough life or something. Holy smokes, man!
Well, cross him off the list.
Sorry, Phil.
I think he's
I
dead.
think he may have. I think he passed. About 15
Well,
years ago.
definitely cross him off the list then.
Yeah, I mean, we weren't trying to be mean. We were just making a statement.
So as I looked at some of the most successful, I guess, knuckleballers, not necessarily. I guess it would also be quantity as well with quality. You have, it's mostly like 60s, 70s, 80s. You got the Necros, you got some other guys in there. and I threw a couple of the more recent on the list here. Tim Wakefield, R.A. Dickey. And it seems like for most of our life, not the past handful of years, but there's always been like one knuckleballer that you would actually take on your team. And currently, the only guy I could find was some guy on the Padres who's getting rocked in AAA. And I'm going to stop sharing my screen here. And, you know, I know we've had this discussion before, and especially now with all the technology you could use to map out, you know, how do I throw this nasty knuckle beast, right? I'm surprised we don't see it more. It would be, you know, as hard as it is to be a good pitcher, as hard as it physically is to stay on top of your game, you would think this, you know, it's so easy to just float a knuckleball, but it's apparently really hard to make it good. And I don't know. What are your memories of knuckleballers? I wouldn't say I have a lot, other than the time I almost died from a softball. But and then what are your thoughts about, you know, can we make a social media firestorm to either get some people into throwing knuckleballs, some youngsters, or maybe get some current guys that are close to just, you know, start doing it and see what can happen. What are your thoughts?
Go ahead,
You got
someone else.
you got any memories of watching knuckleballers, playing knuckleballers, throwing knuckleballs?
So I loved catching knuckleballs. It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. I never really had a problem with it. It seems like they were also coming at me at like 50 miles per hour, as opposed to, I think R.A. Dickey threw his like 85 or something. Like R.A. Dickey threw a hard knuckleball, which I imagine was just ridiculous. But I always loved it. Clinton Hamilton had a really good one. Yeah, he played with us a few times in the Wooden Bat League, and I got to catch
Of
that.
course he did.
Yeah, but I mean,
Makes sense.
Clinton Hamilton, anything with a baseball, good. So I know there's a guy I played with since I was 10, and like his dad threw a really good knuckleball and taught him how to throw a really good knuckleball, and he has thrown knuckleballs in Little League, which was fun. I also usually didn't have a problem hitting them either, but which was nice. But I loved them. I love watching the pitchers that throw them. It's any sort of like quirky thing. It seems like also, you know, if we're talking about health, because R.A. Dickey like hurt
Yeah,
himself.
Tommy
And that's,
John. Yeah.
yeah, and I think he came back as a knuckleball. Like I think he tried to be a traditional pitcher to begin his career, but I wanted somebody else to go first because I'm trying to read his Wikipedia page over here. But it's really hard to talk and read at the same time. But I am absolutely for reinstating, but it doesn't seem like it's gonna happen in a world where everything seems so stuck on spin rate and velocities and all that good stuff, which certainly you could go spin rate the other way, and go and shoot for zero.
Who can
But-
get 100 RPM fastball?
Yeah. But it's one of my favorite things, and it's so unique because I don't know, the pitcher knows where it's going, because it goes whichever way it wants to go. Like unless you
Mhm.
get so consistent where like where how the seams are going to catch and stuff like that. But I don't know if that's possible because it does seem like sometimes the knuckleballers come in, they just don't have it. As far as their finding the zone, and also I think if we get to robo umps, it's a little bit easier. But when catchers look like idiots catching knuckleballs, it's kind of hard to get calls as well.
You know,
or where they just drop the ball and then like a middle knuckleball and they just whiff on it entirely. Go ahead.
You know, but before Jay Lee gave me this idea for this segment, a couple days ago I heard the name Bob Uecker, who the broadcaster for the Brewers, right?
Mhm.
And I was like, you know, he's in the is he in the Major League movies? He's in some
Yes.
baseball movies. He's hilarious, right? So I'm like, oh man, Bob Uecker. I wonder when he passed away. So I looked up his page. The dude's still alive.
Yeah.
Which is awesome. Bob, come on the show. But
Yes.
as I was reading some old articles or something, I believe it was him who said this. He said, the best way to, I don't know if he caught a knuckleballer or played with a knuckleballer, but he said the best way to catch a knuckleballer is just put your glove down, wait for it to hit, and then go pick it up once it stops rolling. Because he was like, you don't know what it's going to do, and it's impossible to catch. But that's funny how that tied into our segment after I thought the dude was dead, but still beasting.
Yeah, I saw a highlight the other day of that Waldrop guy for the Padres. I mean, just completely whiffed everybody with. I mean, nobody could catch it. It missed the catcher, missed the umpire, and it was right down the middle.
Yeah. You got to think like, let's say you could throw the perfect pitch every time. I mean, if you got like a hundo on the outside corner, if you got a wipeout slider, but if you could throw the perfect knuckleball every time, wouldn't that be the pitch you would go with? Wouldn't that be the nastiest thing?
Mm-hmm. What do you think, Jared? Knuckleball or heater?
I mean, I think they both serve their purpose, but I think the game's adapted to be hitting people who can throw hard now, I guess. So it's surprising that dude's getting, but I mean, I guess how often is he throwing his knuckleball? I guess is what I would ask. Because I mean, like, memories for me is like Tim Wakefield. Watching him, I felt like that was the only pitch he ever threw. Like, I mean, I think he might, like, his fastest pitch was maybe like 85.
I remember playing with him on the show, and you could every once in a while sneak an 82-mile-per-hour fastball by the other player.
That's what I'm saying. So, I mean, I guess if someone's predominantly throwing the knuckleball, like, that'd be a huge change of pace, I think, for these guys in the MLB now who are so used to having to try to hit 95 plus from every pitcher that comes in. I mean, to Corey's point, I think I'm going to vote reinstate just because of you don't know where the ball is ever going to go. And I think it's fun to see the catchers freak out and be like, I don't know where this is going to end up. So I think there's a cool strategy behind it from that. And then I don't know. I think knuckleball is always fun to watch. I could never throw one, even though I was taught multiple times how to throw one, but it just, I don't know. So kudos to all those knuckleballers out there who can figure it out because your boy can't.
Yeah, I'm a reinstate also. I never could throw one either. We had a guy in our class, Kyle Sethler, who was a lot like Clint. He just touched baseball, make it do whatever he wanted. And he would just, I mean, he threw mid 80s probably in high school, and he would just drop knuckleballs occasionally at the game and just make people look ridiculous. I don't know that we ever faced him. I remember facing Darren Funk. He threw one in the men's league. That was his main pitch. Mm-hmm. That was always fun facing him. You knew it was coming, so he'd be ready for it. But growing up, I remember Tom Candiotti threw it a lot for the Dodgers. He had pretty good career. But yeah, it'll be interesting going forward if it will be used again, because I think Corey's right. The robo umps will help you get more strikes as a knuckleballer. Mm-hmm. But if you're a base runner and knuckleballer's on the mound, you might as well just steal every base every time, because catchers aren't going to have a chance throwing you out. So I think that's probably a bigger reason why I bet it's less and less in the game, because you just have no chance of stopping anybody if that knuckleball's coming.
I guess that's part of one of the things that is wild to me too, is like with the other knuckleballers we've seen, like their fastest pitch would be like 80 or 85. How has there not been a kid that's come along that could throw 95 but still has a nasty knuckleball. Like, why has that not come into the league yet? Like, that's what's
Use it instead
mind-boggling
of
to
a
me.
change up or something.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I don't know.
It's a great pitch, and it creates jobs for knuckleball
Good
catchers.
for the economy.
Yeah.
Was it Doug
And if
Marabelli? Is that his name?
Doug Marabelli
Oh,
was
man.
Wakefield's, and then Josh Tolley, who's actually from Illinois.
Yeah.
For Dickey, I believe he followed him from the Mets to the Blue Jays.
Yeah.
Let's
Marabelli's
see.
the one that got the police escort, right? Like they tried using a different catcher, it didn't work, so they traded for him and had a police escort to Fenway
Really?
to get him to the game in time to catch Wakefield.
That's what I'm talking about.
Josh Tolley's from Breeze, Illinois, which is about 25 minutes from me.
There you go.
So
Come on the
but
pod
yeah,
and show us.
if anybody
Joe, I know-
needs
Oh, go ahead.
one, I'm just gonna give my pitch for my services here. If any knuckleballers come up and they need a catcher for the knuckleball, like I said, I feel like I do okay. So I also can't hit, which I think both of those guys were definitely there for their defensive purposes.
If
Yeah,
you
there
need
you
somebody to like rake the mound or put a little extra dirt out there, I could probably get that done for you too.
You know, the greatest reality show of all time was also about knuckleballs, Joe. If you remember that, when they had Doug Flutie on the show trying to teach him how to throw knuckleball, they had all these other athletes from other sports, and whoever could learn the knuckleball the best was going to get a tryout. I don't remember how it ended, but I remember Flutie was on there, and he picked it up pretty quick. Of course, Doug Flutie can do everything
Super
too.
athlete.
So, yeah.
Expert drop kicker.
He was just
Yes.
was that y'all that he was just on the Savannah Bananas? Somebody else
Flutie?
must send me that clip. Yeah. He
Oh
what did
no,
they
I missed
do?
that.
I can't remember what it was, but yeah, he was out there on the field doing something with him.
Dude, what a national treasure.
100%.
Well, yeah, that's a good one. So we're all reinstate as long as you can figure out how to throw it 90 miles per hour so everybody doesn't steal every base on you.
90-mile-an-hour knuckleball?
Dude, that'd be awesome. Go through a lot of catchers that way. A lot of
Oh,
umpires.
Mm.
All righty, so that brings us to our weekend predictions. I didn't even pay attention really to a lot of the series. I had a crazy weekend, so I'm not sure where I fell, Corey. So
Boy.
help us out.
Yeah, let me.
baby.
I've lost my tab here. Let me tell you, we tied. Everybody tied.
Oh,
Load for me. Load
Is that
for
even
me,
Somebody
possible?
split.
Everybody tied with a 1-4 record. Great job.
Are
guys.
you serious?
I'm serious.
That means I'll fill it first.
take the points we had last week, add 1, you're there. But for a
That's
recap
amazing.
here.
We don't have to.
That's fine. All right, we won't. Yeah, we don't need to. We are going to
Where's
take a
Gavin
look.
where you need him?
I know. Well, I thought about texting him today and be like, all right, give me your picks because it didn't work. All right. We are going to take a look at the Rays at Orioles to start off, kind of that battle of the AL, actually. Let me get my leagues right. We're 23 episodes into this, and I still don't know which league's which. I'm still, well, gosh, I see Jack Flaherty, and that's a loss for the Orioles. And that's the one that they're most likely to win. Oh, my gosh.
Wait, I thought the percentages was for the team on the left.
Yes. Correct. So
Okay,
Jack
yeah,
Flaherty.
yeah, I'm an idiot.
Remember, I don't know how stats work.
You're an idiot.
Yeah. Kyle Bradish having a great year, actually. Yeah, I'm still going to take the Orioles. I think Bradish, Grayson, maybe Jack can pull one out, but I also still just don't know how the Rays are still playing as good as they are. But that's been the story for the Rays the past 8 years. So, Jared,
take the Birds.
the Larrys, Larry Birds.
The Larry Birds.
I'll pick Tampa.
The short flight.
I'm going Baltimore as well.
All righty. Moving on to the Rangers at Guardians. We mentioned earlier that the Rangers are playing better as of late. Lucas Giolito, I don't know how he's done now, but his first one or two starts were horrendous.
Yeah.
Tanner Beebe's having a good year. You know what? I am going to take the Guardians here. I think they take those last two games. And I like Guardians of the Galaxy.
The first two.
I'll take the Walker Texas Rangers.
Sounds about right. We're going to
'Cause
owe Chuck
that's
Norris so much
where the
money.
Rangers gonna be. Cleveland, baby.
They got to win by 15.
Rangers.
Running out of time.
All right. And then for our stinker matchup of the week, we need a zinger for that one too. I picked it and then I looked at these pictures and I know two of three. I guess I know three of them, but Kenny Rosenberg sounds like a made up guy. Sorry, Kenny. Come on the pod sometime.
Sawyer Gibson Long. Like, what is
That's
that?
true.
He's got three last names. I mean,
But
he's clearly a better pitcher than I am, but still.
Yeah, I think with the Tigers, this is like the third or fourth time they showed up in like the bad matchup of the week, and I picked them every time, and I think they usually win. So I'm gonna take the
They're
Tigers.
the best of the worst.
Yeah,
I'll take the Angels.
Nope, no more. I'm done.
No.
I gave them all I could.
Joe.
Yeah, I lost my audio there for a second, guys. So sorry about that. I guess sorry for me because I didn't get to hear what you said, but I'll
That's
go
important.
Watch it later on YouTube.
That's a view.
I just saw the Angels have a guy named Rosenberg, which is pretty close to Runnemucker, Ruhlenfurter, and Rosengardner. So let's go with the Angels.
Gardenhoser.
What is
I'm going Tigers.
All right. Next
done
up
with the
is the. It's a sign, kid. You're going in.
Deal from the half to.
The next is the Dodgers and Mariners. This will be a fun series. I think we get to see, if the Mariners can keep it up against kind of the powerhouse Dodgers here. A lot of good young pitchers here, and then you got probably the best pitcher of our generation as well. So that's a nice little mix. Who is the best pitcher of our generation?
I knew you were going to say that. I agree with you. I agree with you.
Okay,
I was just
don't make that
getting you
face at
fired
me,
up. Gaslight you.
Now people just think I'm arguing with myself because they can't. The audio listeners don't see you make a face at me.
Are we sure he's
Good.
pitching?
I pulled these literally while we were getting ready to do this. So, let me double check my sources here on a different website. I'm gonna take the Mariners though because I think they are fun and I like the colors that their jerseys are.
I also took the Mariners.
What is that? The 16th when he said he's supposed to be there?
Yep.
Yeah, I got Kershaw versus Bryce Miller. Golly, he's got a 2.61 ERA this year. Just gross, Clayton.
Clayton? But he's only pitched like 8 times.
He's 12-4 with a 2.61 ERA.
Okay, 16 times. Sorry, whatever.
He's
It's only
got
half a season.
I don't care. That's.
I do.
One of these days, we're going to talk about Clayton Kershaw and like the just sicko stretch he had. Anyway, Joe.
Mariners.
Mariners.
Hey guys, I do just want to point out, last week the Mariners were one of our weekend prediction series, and we all took them, and they did not win. So
Well, stop that.
Try again.
And finally, to wrap it up, another battle of the AL East. The Yankees are the odd team out here, not playing a division rival. We've got the Red Sox at Blue Jays. I've lost my tab because I'm looking up random stuff. Oh boy. I mean, everything tells me I should take the Blue Jays, but I just don't want to. So I'm going to take the Red Sox.
I also took the Red Sox.
Nice.
Blue Jays.
Don't hurt yourself.
I was about to try to do the sound of a Blue Jay, but then I realized I don't know what that sound is.
No, go ahead.
So I'll just say Blue Jays.
What does the Blue Jay say?
Ring ding 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 ring ding ding. All right, we've got 3 for the Orioles, 1 for the Rays, split on Guardians Rangers, split on Angels Tigers, clean sweep for the Mariners at the Dodgers. We gave the Dodgers a lot of love, at least I did earlier, and then now we just were like, nope, sorry, team sucks.
I don't think Kershaw's making that start. And if he does, he's not going to be good.
He is on the MLB.com probable pitchers, which is not.
I know, but I don't mean nothing.
I mean, he's still the best pitcher of our generation, and I will fight anybody. Who says otherwise.
Nobody's like saying he's not good.
He's not
Aaron-
good. Sorry,
Aaron
Cody.
gave me a funny look.
He hasn't made 30 starts in almost a decade, man.
I will take.
Sorry, Clayton's
Oh
not
my
good
gosh.
when he faces St. Louis. I'll put that there.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, it's tough to say you're the best when you don't pitch. I think he's phenomenal. He's the best.
This
Maybe
sounds
when he's
like
healthy,
a different
but,
topic for
wow.
a different podcast.
Yeah, let's go.
You get us out of here.
Corey's
Are you done?
solo podcast starts after
Yeah,
this.
we'll just let Corey
It's my Clayton Kershaw fan cast.
and Mad Bum. He'll sneak him in there somehow.
Yeah, left-handed pitchers fan cast.
He likes them.
Yeah.
Tall lefty. Joe will be your special guest.
Yeah.
Mhm.
They don't throw balls either. All righty, guys. So next week we're going to check back in our wild card races and talk some award potential winners in the American League. And we are wrapping up quick, man. We got 3 weeks left in the season. A lot of races are still up for grabs, and it's going to be fun.
We hope.
And
We'll see
Hey,
how the
by
Cubs
the
do.
time this drops, we'll be headed to Kansas City soon. So we'll be looking on the socials, on YouTube for some hopefully fun stuff, some shenanigans when we're all together.
Get that right arm stretched out.
Oh, man.
Yeah,
I-
I'm trying to
I
throw the
can't.
first pitch.
It's hurting just thinking about throwing, man.
And
Let's
stay.
sneak on the field and throw out the first pitch.
Yeah, and then if that doesn't work, we're gonna sneak into Arrowhead.
Roberto's not throwing the first pitch.
Too soon.
Wow.
Too soon.
That's almost worse than your topic suggestion.
Get us out of
What
here.
the- I gotta ask you about
Get
that.
out
one. Okay, until next time, don't forget to
Oh, Rake.
Rake.
Position. Rake something. May not be your position.
If you want to talk about the topic, you need to stop recording.
What was it? I don't have anything in my text.
Well, once he hits,
You
stop
laughed at
recording,
it.
I'll tell you.